that could go on forever. Hey, welcome to the Bender Bunker, your one-stop shop for B-bender related videos. And I'm sorry to say, we are not in a basement in the south of France. We are in fact in central Texas, here in the Bender Bunker, endeavoring to take our usual twangy B-bender action and join it, meld it if you will, with some high-octane rock and roll of a certain flavor. Yeah, I'll go ahead and admit it. The title of the lesson, the shirt, the backing track, it's a giveaway. We're going to try and put some B-bender licks over a Stonesy groove. Got about as close as we can, hopefully without any copyright infringements with YouTube. Thank you very much. So this is going to be a fun one. We don't do a little rocky kind of tunes here in the bunker. We kind of stay in Twangville most of the time. And you know, obviously I own the shirt. It's in my background and it's going to come out because it's got stuff. So if that sounds good to you and you want to get a little rock and roll in your twang, a little rocky twang if you will, which kind of, rocky twang kind of sounds like a Ben & Jerry's prototype ice cream flavor that never quite got off the ground and probably best. All right, so go grab that bender. Join me here in the bunker and let's get on it with some Exile on Bender Street coming up next. Well, perfect. Looks like you want to take a stroll down Bender Street with me here. Exile on Bender Street lesson. Let's get to it. Before we do, indulge me for just a quick order of business. Did you know the Bender Bunker now has an Instagram account? And you're asking yourself, good Lord, why? I know. Well, you know, I pretty much figured these lessons here on YouTube, I can only crank one, maybe two of these out a month. And I thought for those that might want more hot Bender Bunker action in between the lessons here on YouTube, why not an Instagram page where we can post weekly photos and video snippets and behind the scenes footage. We've already done some of them. If you go and check it out, that's kind of the intention, just to give you more content as we work these lesson videos out. And of course it is Instagram, so what will you see when you go to our Instagram page? You'll see us having breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You'll see the Bender Bunker luxuriating in an infinity pool in the Greek Isles, because that's what you do on Instagram from what I can tell. Sadly, no, you won't see any of that. What will you see? You will see other walls of the Bender Bunker, because there's some cool stuff hanging on the other walls, I promise. This is all you've ever seen for 2 years, so we'll see other walls. We'll see the Bender Bunker mascot. We'll see Bender Bunker Marty Stewart memorabilia that we house here. Interesting. You've heard it for over 2 years now. Now you'll actually see the Bender Bunker's pedal board. We'll get a nice look at that and some other fun stuff. I'll have some guitar and beer porn on there. That's right, guitar and beer porn, deal with it. So if that's what you want, it's there on Instagram. Well, I promise you as well, I will never show you what the bunker has for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. We will never do that. So if you want to check that out, direct link to our Instagram page in the show more section below. All right, let's get Exile on Bender Street started. And we are going to start with the infamous one finger B-bender lick. I know, one finger. All it takes is one finger, a bender on your guitar, and the courage to bring the two together. It's what you saw and heard me do in the opening. Let's do that now, thusly. All right, index finger. This lesson is in the key of B, as in Bender. So, as such, our B bar chord means we're probably starting up here top two of the index on the 7th. And we'll also be going down to the top two on the 2nd fret, and then for a while, a brief sojourn over here to the top two on the 5th. That's what we're doing right now. And so let's go ahead and get your index finger top two on the 7th. We're going to start with the picking the B string, taking the bender up, hit your high E, which is covered as well, come back to the B string, so it's kind of a triplet. Now notice when I did the triplet, I left the bender engaged so I could go down to the 2nd fret, and then when I got down there for the top two, I started with the high E, hit the B string to let it down. Rolled it back up here. In fact, for this whole section, I don't think my index finger ever actually leaves the fretboard, so keep that in mind as you're working it out. Now the bender's down, let's take top two on the 5th. Now that cadence, that tempo, that's up to you, but that's what we're doing there in the opening. It's the top two on the 5th, and we're just working, watch the bender, we're working the bender out. No matter what you do, end with your bender still engaged, so you can sneak back down to the top two on the 2nd, high E, bender down. And then end those festivities with the 3rd string 4th fret with your ring finger, because that is the bass note for your B bender box. All right. next section we're going to call the Chuck Berry section for obvious reasons. And of course, this being a Stones, therefore Keith loves Chuck, we love Chuck. That's how this all came about. That was the... Now, if you've got your bender on and you're following along, this isn't your first rodeo, so you probably know these Chuck riffs, so I'm going to go over them rather quickly. Again, index finger, top 2 on the 7th again, right? So we do those twice. Then I'm dropping with my ring finger for the 3rd and 2nd string on the 9th. Do that double stop, those 2. Go down with my index finger now, 3, 2 strings on the 7th. And then when I hit the 3, 2 strings on the 7th, I come up on the G string with my middle finger, and that is going to be on the 8th fret. That last note, of course, would be your 9th fret on the 4th string, which is your B root note. So you Chuck Berry it to your delight in the style you wish, but that's what we're doing there on the opening. So we do that. That's the bender section. Let's get to that. That's this. Let's learn that. So that's going to start with the 4th and your 2nd string on the 9th. And it's kind of a triplet. We go 1, 2, 3. So I'm sliding on my 4th string with my middle finger up to the 9th, and then I've got my ring finger over on the 2nd string on the 9th, and then I come back and do a real quick, almost dead note with my ring finger again there on the 4th string 9th. So we're doing the 1, 2, 3, the 4, 2 on the 9th, right? 1, 2, 3. And then we're going over to the B string on the 7th with your index finger. You've got it pre-engaged by that point, because when we hit the note, we want to let the bender down. Now, we're going to hit that down and then take it back. All right, B bender hit is engaged. We're doing the B string 7th with our index finger. Back up. High E is already covered by the index. Now we go back to the B string to let the bender down. And then we drop our middle finger there, G string 8th, which is the top 3 strings of our B bar chord. And then we finish that. Now I'm going down here with my ring finger on the B string 7th, and then I go with my middle finger right next to it on the G string, your 3rd string 6th. Do a quick half bend, kind of a half step. In fact, I already got it kind of half pre-bent. And then we end that with our index finger on the G string 4th. And if you can, let your B string and G string ring together. Getting a little warm in here. I think things are heating up here at Bender Street. I'm gonna go grab that ceiling fan and a beverage. I'll be right back. All right, the fan's rolling, I'm hydrated. Let's just keep going. We are halfway through what we have termed the Chuck Berry section. So we know the riff, and we're gonna do the riff that we just learned again. That's what comes after it in the second half. Let's learn that right now. He starts off with the top 3 strings that would form your B bar chord again. So you've got your index finger going to be on the top 2, and then your middle finger is going on the G string 8th. So what we're doing for this section is we're sliding in with our middle finger to the G string 8th. When we get there, we've of course got the 7th fret covered already by our index finger once we arrive, like right there, see? So we're sliding in 8th on the G string, pop up to the high E 7th. Now when I pop up to the high E 7th, that's also my subconscious cue to pre-engage the bender because that's what I need. All right, so I just did G string up to the high E 7th, and then now I'm going to do the B string, hit it, let the bender down, and then bring the bender back up all in one motion. Just like that. Okay, bender's still fully engaged, which is what we want. Now we're going to sneak up here for this part. Okay, which is really just the top 2 strings of our 7th shape for the B section we're in. What we're doing there, of course, the bender's fully engaged as we go up here, but when we get up here, it is the high E 11th and your B string 10th. That is ring finger on the high E and index finger on the B string 10th. Bender's still engaged. Start with the high E, then we hit the B string there on the 10th, what we did before. Bender down, bender back up, one motion. So together, bender's engaged. Now we're coming up here for this part. So the bender's engaged. We just came off of this. Things are ringing nicely. We hop up here. This is the top 2 strings of your 14th. So I've got my ring finger on the high E and my middle finger on the B string on the 14th. I start with the high E, then I hit the B string, let it down. I don't go back up this time. And then I finish strong with the B string 12th, which is your B note, with my index finger. And that's the finish part of the Chuck Berry section. So altogether, the Chuck Berry section is... Perfect. Now we're going to finish strong. We're going to go back to kind of that second part of what we just did in that work up the neck. We're going to go back to what I referred to earlier as the D7th shape for the B key that we're in. We're going to do this. All right, so what I want you to do is kind of what you did before. Make that second shape of what you just learned. Again, that's your ring finger, high E 11th, and your index finger, B string 10th. Okay? And then eventually you are going to complete the 7th shape with your middle finger over on the G string 11th. That's your very last note. Get ready for that. All right, so we're going back to that shape we already learned previously. And then we're going to start by hitting the B string. Bender's not engaged. Hit the B string, take it up. Now, keep it engaged for a second, and then let's work this pattern off the B string that's engaged in the high E. That's what we're going to do. It's bender down and back up. Now the bender's still engaged. Let's go up with our little finger, high E 12th. Let's go back to the B string on the 10th that's still with the bender engaged. And then let the little finger up to go back to the ring finger that's still on the 11th. So all together it sounds like... comes down, so that part again. And then the last note is your G string 11th with your middle finger to make that 7th shape. Okay, so there we are. Bender's down. We just finished our 7th shape. Now we're going to do this. What I'm doing coming off of that 7th shape, notice I've already got my middle finger on the G string and my ring finger on the high E. That's good, that's what we need. All I'm going to do now is take my index finger out of the mix for a second. I'm going to drop it down here to the 9th fret. So I've got the 3rd and the 1st string on the 9th fret covered, right? You can see that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the G string there on the 9th and take it up back to where I was on the 11th. And when I get there, then I'm going to pick the high E on the 11th afterwards. So it sounds like this. And then once I do that, I'll have both the strings ringing, the 3rd and the 1st string ringing on the 11th. I'll let them ring and I'll slide it back down together to where they started on the 9th. So I started on the 3rd string, slide up, hit the high E, they're ringing. That's what we're doing. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, really 4 sections. But really only 2 picks. The first pick to take you up, then back down. So there you are, 3rd and 1st string on the 9th. Index finger covers the top 2 for B on the 7th fret again. Pre-engage the bender. Then back down, pre-engage the bender, 2nd fret. Then in like we did before with the G string on the 4th fret with your ring finger. So with the 7th section, let's try and take it from the Chuck Berry section through what we just learned real quick. Here we go. Now the 7th. Repeat the 7th again. What I like to do sometimes when I finish this section, I'll come like this. I'll go real quick on the... And then I've got the top 3 covered for my bender box. And I'll take it back up. Right? And then you can go back to whatever you want to do. That, my friends, the entire Exile on Bender Street lesson is now available for you in your head. You've seen everything. There's no tricks up my sleeve left. And it's just time for you to put the pieces together. Like most of these lessons, take the part you like and make them your own. If only you do the... Maybe you like that part. That's all you take from this. I understand. Make it your own. That's the whole point of this thing. It's just kind of fun to put it in a Stonesy context whenever you can. All right. I appreciate you watching. If you made it this far, you are a true Stonesy kind of fan here in the Bender land. I do appreciate it. Be a great time to hit that like button if you did. If you didn't like it, don't hit it. And if you think you might need to share it with someone who's never seen the bunker, hit the share button while you're thinking about it. If it's your first time at the bunker, well, welcome. We do this at least once to twice a month, and there's a bunch of backlog of lessons, at least 40-something of them there waiting for you on the channel. So a lot of Bender action there waiting for you. And if you want to subscribe, we make it easy. It's down there in the bottom. One of those corners, you got a subscribe button. Go nuts. And of course, the Instagram. Good Lord. Why would you ever want to not see more Bender action between the lessons? Right there in the show more section. I'm going to fire up the backing track. Let's rock on out of here and say goodbye to Exile on Bender Street. It's time to move on. And I'm going to end as I always do with our motto. It's never too late to go on a bender, especially here when you're on Exile Street. And let's do it. Let's rock on out of here. And as always, do me a favor and keep it bent.